So when did you start cutting hair?
Well, I started cutting hair back in, golly, I was 13 years old.
Wow.
I was 13 years old. Me and my mom, we used to clean this barber shop, and we really couldn't afford to get hair. I couldn't afford to get haircuts at that time, so I started cutting my own hair in this barber shop.
So when did you start realizing that you wanted to make this a career or do it for a living?
Well, it was probably in 2004, I believe. My mom, she had got real sick, and she was in the hospital, and she passed away. And one of my buddies, his name was Heath, he's like, hey man, let's go to barber school and cut hair. And I'm like, man, I don't want to cut nobody's hair, man, you know, because I was a manager at Advanced Auto Parts, so I was making pretty decent money.
Okay.
And he was like, hey, let's go. So and I talked with my girlfriend at the time, and she decided, hey, if that's what you want to do, let's do it. Because I had to kind of help take care of my two sisters. So we shipped off to Lubbock, man.
So when did you start, looking for a place to lease or lease a building, or like, what was the process?
Well, for me, I worked at this one shop called Julian's, Julian T. Arenas. I worked there for 3 years. And in working in that shop, you know, the business was great for me, and we just had some issues that we were dealing with in the shop, and he had to let me go. And I went and worked at another shop for maybe about 6 months. And in that shop, you know, it was a decent shop, and I definitely appreciated those guys, but it was just time for me to look for another spot.
Yeah.
And one day, I had to take my little girl back to Dallas, and I was asked, man, honestly, I was just praying to the Lord, like, man, Lord, you know, if it's in your will for me to have this shop, you know, set me a stage, give me a sign of a shop that I need. And I came back into town, drove down this street, didn't find one, passed by it, and went to another place, and was like, man, that's not it. Then I came at the light, and I seen this lady, as I was coming at the light, this lady was just walking down, and she put a sign, said, just for lease.
Oh, wow.
So, and the Lord, when I said that, the Lord was like, all right, there's your shop. So, I ran up like a kid, man, looked inside, went and talked to her, told her, hey, I want this, how much is this and that? Didn't have a clue, you know, about how to run a shop. Didn't have an idea. But it fell into place. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Tons of times, man. Because at first, I didn't really want my own shop. You know what? I wanted a school.
Okay.
But it didn't. That's not what was in plan for me.
Yeah.
So there for a while, you know, I was debating, man, I don't want to get this shop, and then fear comes in, because you're like, man, you know, you have this passion that you want to do it, but you're scared to do it because, for one, none of us in life wants to become failures. Yeah. So you thinking if you do it and you fail, you know, you just failed in life. And us as men, that's one thing that, you know, we stick highly to: honor, respect. We don't want to fail, because then we feel that everyone else is talking about us. Yeah. So what we want to do is we actually want to sit back, and we have this fear, like, man, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it because we're scared. You have to put that to a side, and if you fail, just count it as a lesson and move on to your next obstacle.
Young entrepreneur or somebody who wants to start the business, what advice would you give them?
Well, the first step I'm going to give them is, you know, you want to make sure whatever business you decide you want to go into, you want to make sure that you want to put all your all into it. You don't want to just halfway do it. Yeah. Whatever business you decide on jumping into, make sure this is what you want to do. You're going to take time away from your girlfriend or your wife, from your kids. You have to devote almost 80 to 90%, or sometimes 100% all into your business to get it up and going. Yeah. So you just have to find out what you want to do. Then once you find out what you want to do, then you just put forth the effort and go for it. You know, you got your lease you got to take care of. You have your insurance you have to take care of. Then you got your bills. Let's say you're at your house. You still got electricity, water, and gas. You have the same thing at your business, and then you got to have insurance. And then depends on which business you get into. You got to have you got to figure out how you're going to provide for your customers that are coming in.
Yeah. So don't you have a second shop?
Yes, sir.
So what did you think about starting that one?
Same thing.
Same thing.
I had this place for 7 years, almost 8. I was scared on doing that one. My wife was like, no, baby, we don't need another shop, because she know I kind of struggled with having one shop. But one of my close friends, the one who actually purchased the shop, who actually went and told me this shop is yours. You know, he's like, here you go, man. I was scared, honestly, because I didn't want to run it, man. That's, once again, that's 3 electricities, 3 waters, 3 gas. And how am I going to provide for this if I don't have the barbers to come in and pay for it, you know?